Okay, folks, I thought I'd give you an update on the insanity that's going on in New York. First of all, apparently there was a scandal involving a nursing home and an additional 1,700 people dead that they didn't even know about or that they didn't count at first. I mean, honestly, are you really that stupid, Governor Cuomo? Those are the most at-risk people that there is. That's the demographic that's the most at risk, the elderly. So the fact that this is going on shows how stupid he is. But also, this is the main point I want to talk about to show how incompetent he is. They are demanding, or I should say, Governor Cuomo is demanding state taxes be paid for all the volunteers that he begged that come to help him. Let me go backtrack and give you a little bit of info on that. First of all, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Governor Cuomo went to the media, to YouTube, to whatever platform he could, and he begged for people to come help his state out. I mean, he was pleading for doctors and nurses, please come help us, we're in need. And now that, a lot of people answered the call, some people even came out of retirement to help out, he's saying, well, we're in no position to give subsidies, so you're going to have to pay state taxes on that. And it's actually worse than you think, because let's say that you came out of retirement and you were getting paid within the state of New York. That's one thing. But he wants to extend it to out-of-state pay. So, for example, let's say that I'm a doctor in Vermont and there's not much going on because a lot of hospitals weren't very busy because a lot of elective surgeries were being canceled for, to make room for coronavirus cases. So some doctors may have said, okay, there's not much going on here, I'm going to go help next door and help out New York. So they're getting paid if they're salaried and they're getting paid via the state of Vermont, if they're getting paid by a hospital in Vermont and they're just volunteering their time within New York, he's saying you got to pay state taxes on that. That may not fly legally because, you're not getting paid within the state of New York. You don't need to pay those taxes. I mean, that is an egregious overreach of your power because first of all, they aren't getting paid within your state. They aren't getting paid by an entity within your state. They volunteered. They are getting paid via an entity that's out of state. I don't think you have a claim on that income. And my suggestion to anyone if you were working within the state of New York and you got paid by an entity within the state of New York, by let's say a hospital in New York, you're kind of screwed. I hate to say it, but you're kind of screwed. He's got you by the balls. But if you were getting paid by an entity outside of the state of New York, you should just flee the state and say, come get it. Yeah, I'm not paying you. You should just flee the state and never go back. Governor Cuomo is out of control at this point. He is incompetent, and this is going to actually have detrimental effects in the future. Let me explain that. They have a $13 billion shortfall budget deficit, and this may get them, a couple $1,000,000 because something like 78,000 people volunteered. Now, I'm hoping a lot of them were getting paid by an out-of-state entity, and they can just screw New York. But this is going to have some serious detrimental effects because while it may get a few $1,000,000 right now, it's going to really screw them in the future because not as many people are going to volunteer. Because if, let's say sometime 10 years from now, there's another outbreak and New York is taking the brunt of it, the United States is not likely to shut down like this again. But what if New York is hit unusually hard because they're a population center? There's a lot of people in a small area. That's where disease naturally multiplies faster. I mean, out in the countryside, it's not as bad. But in population centers like New York City and Los Angeles, disease is just, that's where disease loves. That's where it runs rampant. And if, say 10 years from now, or even, this disease may become endemic in the United States and may mutate, we could have another outbreak a year from now. Let's say a year from now, there's another outbreak and they need help because, a lot of the old folks are being hit hard. And, he begs for help again. I hope people just say, screw you. Screw you. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Because people in the future are going to be more hesitant to help New York because they know that he's going to penalize them. I mean, this is almost a penalty for being a good Samaritan. They came to the aid of New York and he's saying, here's your bill. That's egregious. That's horrible. And he's basically sending a bill to people who volunteered their time to help out. And this is going to really screw him in the future because, whereas 78,000 people helped out this time, the number of people who volunteer to help out next time that this happens may be a tenth of that. Because they'll just look at what happened this time and say, no, you tried to foot me with a bill last time. I'm just going to stay at home and enjoy myself. I'm just going to, stay here and enjoy time with my grandkids. Because a lot of these people left their houses, left their families behind for a couple of months to help out, and he's stiffing them. They're not going to do that again. They're not going to volunteer again. He really hurt New York in the future. And now, that's the thing. They don't think about the future. He's thinking about the here and now. And he doesn't realize that down the road, this is going to have serious consequences.